The last time I was here in this room, I was apologizing for the fuck up. Giving away. You were here, you saw that, right?
Yeah, we're
That's not happening today. No fuck up.
no F up today. Okay. All right. So before we start the press conference, I'd like to introduce everyone in this room, starting by the one at the table. In the first row, we have the producer of the film, Jason Berman. The composer, Howard Drosten. And one of the actors, Elijah Wright.
Hey.
At our table, Mr. Jeffrey Wright. Ilfanesh Adara. And Monsieur le réalisateur Spike Lee. All right, Spike, let's start with you. Let's start by a very simple question. Why did you want to do this remake of the Kurosawa movie? What was the starting point?
Well, when I was in NYU Graduate Film School, that's where I got introduced to the great cinema of Akira Kurosawa. My first film, She's Gotta Have It, which was here in Cannes, way. Really, the premise for that comes from Rashomon, because Rashomon, you see a murder and a rape, and the characters give their version of what happened. And so with She's Gonna Have It, I had 3 men who were in a relationship with Nola, and each one of those men was given their assessment of Nola. So that came directly from Rashomon.
So you're continuing with this?
The script was around for many years, and Denzel got attached, and we got back together. The funny thing about that is that Denzel and I did not know that our previous film, Inside Man, was 18 years ago. So there's an 18-year gap between Inside Man and this film, but we were surprised because this was like, it was yesterday. So we didn't lose a step, you know, it was like, oh, it's been 18 years, and oh, how do we work together again? You know, it was not like that at all.
Right away. Mm-hmm. Right, talking about that, for you, Finesh and Jeffrey, I'm just curious, and how does he work with you? I mean, very simply, on a day-to-day basis, how does that work? Is he like explaining everything, or just like just work? Is it how does that work with Spike?
Well, it started like this. I think once, Spike and I have come close to working together a few times in the past, and we've known each other forever. We've spent a lot of time in the same places. I live Fort Greene in the house. I live in the neighborhood that Spike grew up in, and where 40 Acres and the Mule is situated now. So we see each other, often, but we'd never worked together, except that one bit on She's Gotta Have It on the series, that little voiceover. Mm-hmm. So he said, getting back together with Denzel, which is obviously an incredible, iconic duo of American and world cinema, and their work speaks for itself. And he says, I want you to, be a part of this. Going to do this remake or revisiting of Kurosawa's High and Low. So it sent a script at one point. I read a bit, and then we were going to get together to talk about working. This was what our first meeting entailed. We went to the museum together to see his collection of work, of pieces that he had donated to Brooklyn Museum for this retrospective. That was our first meeting.
I did not donate shit.
but
not a donation.
So that was somehow our first working meeting, and it made good sense because it was stepping through Spike's interests, his imagination. I mean, these incredibly powerful pieces of political and historical memorabilia. I mean, he has just a staggering collection. Everything from, you know, these obscure pictures of Muhammad Ali somewhere to this massive flag of the ANC in South Africa signed by Nelson Mandela. But it was a wonderful...
And Winnie.
And Winnie. But, I mean, just an incredibly broad range of interests from a very particular perspective, which is his as a kind of guardian of one of the guardians of the black lens on America, which is so critical right now. But anyway, that was our first invitation to the work, was just kind of, you know, an exploration of his mind as seen, you know, through these pieces of interest to him. So Spike is Spike. There's no one else like Spike. And his process is his own. And it was thrilling. It really was. It was, and to be, you know, to be there together with him and Denzel. I mean, it was singular, and I'm really pleased. Thanks for the invitation, Spike.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Well, it's hard to follow that, but I'll tell it like this simply. Our first day on set, I walked on and was kind of exploring this beautiful world that had been created, and past Video Village where Spike's chair was, and on the back said, "Coach," right? So obviously that's the sports lover in Spike, but also I think really indicative of the kind of environment he fosters on set. We all felt like a team. He came to set with a plan every day and a clear vision for the direction the day would go, but was also really open to collaboration and feedback, created an environment where I think we all felt really safe to, you know, put our ideas out there. You know, he's Spike and does have this vision, so would often go, nah, we're gonna do it like this, but in a really respectful way, and not without reason. You know, he was steering the ship, so it was open to, but also knew the bigger picture. So just great to be back on set. And I will also say, I was counting, I know there's been a lot of chat over the last year or so about his history of collaboration with Denzel, but this is number 5 for us too, which is pretty incredible to be able to say.
All right, let's start with a question. Chaz.
Bonjour, Monsieur Spike. It's Chaz Ebert from the home of the Chicago Bulls. Hey. First of all, I want to give you...
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
When was the last time Michael Jordan played?
He left with 6
hold
rings.
on.
After 6 rings,
Wait a
you don't
minute,
have
wait
to
a
play
minute.
anymore.
I know we're going to do the film, but I want you to know that Michael Jordan was born in Brooklyn, New York. He was born in Fort Greene, Cumberland Hospital.
That's right.
Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, and Bernard King, all born in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. So thank you very much.
Tell me where... But tell
People's
me...
Republic of Brooklyn, New York.
But tell me, where do the 6 bull rings reside? In Chicago. All right. Ooh. Okay.
It's starting very well.
Let me give you a compliment first. This was your night, and yet you were so generous to start it with arranging a honorary Palme d'Or for Denzel Washington. I want to thank you for that. That was
wasn't
just
me, though.
beautiful.
That was Terry.
Well, Terry Fremo and you, yeah, it was your night, but you arranged that. So that's very generous of you. My question is this. Well, and I want to tell you, I actually love the film. Jeffrey in it, Ifinash. 1989, you were here with another film, and there was a film critic in the audience named Roger Ebert who thought it was the best thing he saw, and he caused a ruckus because it didn't get the Palme d'Or, and you went back and forth a few years. How does it feel to come back with this big applause and and ovation and just what you do for film being recognized. And I have another
let me
part to
ask
that
that- let me
question.
that-
Okay, let do that one first.
Well, I've been here since Do the Right Thing. It was May 19th, 1989. And as some of you people might not know, May 19th, yesterday was Malcolm X's 100th birthday. So I've had a great experience with this festival. And the people who had their various opinions about Do the Right Thing had nothing to do with the festival. That was just the press. But it started in Cannes, then went to the United States, said Do the Right Thing will cause riots, black people go insane. Do the Right Thing, but the reason why David Dinkles not be the first black mayor in New York City. Joe Klein and Jack Crow, and I thought the other guy, they were telling people, New Yorker magazine, the same issue, that hope to God that this film does not open in your in your neighborhood. It was just pure, blatant racism that black people could not make the distinction about what's on the screen. And all those people have been proven wrong, over the years, and none of them has ever said they fucked up, and excuse my language, never said that they made a mistake, they misread it. But many years later, they still look like idiots. Mama Luke's. That's, all right, nobody got that, all right? Like Mama Luke of the Year.
Okay, I'm just one more thing really quickly because I have to give my colleagues a chance.
And also, Roger, he was a champion of the film, and he said that he was never coming back to Cannes. And I said, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. But he was a great champion, and we all miss him, Roger. Right?
Thank you.
All right.
Congratulations on the film. I'm Leila from The Independent. The film you made, it looks like a declaration of love to New York, to the music industry, to also cinema, because following in the footsteps of Kurosawa is no small project. So you did that, and I thought, okay, maybe that's because of all of that you want to make the film, but it's also a film about morals, which seems to be evolving very fast and very differently from what we know. So I was wondering which of those two really enticed you into making this film right now, because High and Low is from '63, and you decided to do this now. And also for Mr. Wright, to play with your son. How was that experience for you?
About the ethics and moral of the subject itself.
The ethics?
And moral of the subject itself. Why do you want to tell a story now?
Well, I think I said it again, but I was not a part of this film. This project has been through many directors and many screenwriters. So I got the call, and it was a no-brainer for Denzel and I to get together. But I hope that you see that I'm a cinephile. I went to NYU Graduate Film School. A lot of my students are here in Cannes today with films. That's great. And I'm also a 10th professor at NYU, so I've been teaching film at NYU for 30 years. And so for the cinephiles out there, I hope that you might have seen some of the stuff, like The Defiant Ones. That's the great Sidney Poitier holding on to Tony Curtis in the train. We did that to the subway. So there's several, things that we put in the film which has come from a love of cinema. French Connection. With Dean he's not able to come here, but with him chasing the guys with the money. There's a shout out to late great Gene Hackman. So there's several things that that we put in there, which is like a shout out, a nod to great films, my great filmmakers, great actors, and I just like to incorporate that into my work. I'll think of the other one too in a minute.
I just wanted to echo what you said just about this film as a celebration of New York. No one expresses New York like Spike. And Kai, come on, I know what you're gonna say.
Scorsese.
I know what you're gonna
say. Scorsese, and also Cyril Med, Dog Day Afternoon. That's no joke.
Yes. There's
Dog Day, come on
There's
now.
no question about it. Dog Day Afternoon was like the first adult film that I saw in the cinema when I was about 7 years old. And it was one of those films that for me was an invitation to want to go to New York, eventually. There's no question about it. But they are, fully themselves, and Spike is fully himself, and no one photographs New York like Spike. And there's such an intimate connection between who he is and what the city is. It's just so extraordinary. We filmed in Brooklyn, we filmed in the Bronx, we filmed, along the train, Manhattan. Everywhere you go, Spike is a man of every person on every corner of New York City. And that love that he receives and the love that he has for the city is expressed through his film like no one else. And it's
I paid him to say
so,
it.
yeah. so I just wanted to echo that. As for me and having the opportunity to work with my son, yeah, that was a wonderful gift as well from Spike. He's here in his first film.
Nana,
Yeah.
Stand up, please.
Hey. That's all right.
I have to say this. I had very little to do with it. We were rehearsing one day, and Spike said to me, "Elijah's reading with Denzel on Monday." I'm like, "Well, okay." Elijah is studying and had been auditioning for certain roles, and the casting director for a part that he had been up for over several months was casting this movie as well.
Kim Coleman.
Kim Coleman, and sent Spike some tape. I had no idea, and so we sent him the tape, and Spike invited him to audition to go read with Denzel, and then I get a call from Denzel that day. I'm wherever I am, and I get this call, and Denzel says, "Yeah, we tried, but I don't think it's going to work out. He did his best, but maybe the next one."
Pretty classic then.
And I said, "Man, you're calling from his phone. Stop playing with me." And anyway, he got the part, and it was just wonderful, a wonderful opportunity for him and I to work together for the first time. And again, thank you,
Father
Spike.
and son.
Yeah, I mean, the movie is very much a film about fathers and sons. I'm also in Wes Anderson's film, which the Phoenician Scheme, which is cool. I did both films at the same time. I got a couple of weeks off from working with Spike to fly over to Berlin and Babelsberg to work on Wes's film. Probably the only person in the history of cinema who has worked on a Spike Lee movie and a Wes Anderson movie at the same time. Not sure that would be replicated, but that was. Yeah, it was a wonderful gift to have the opportunity to work with him. But as I was saying, Wes's movie is very much a movie about fathers and daughters. So to balance it out, this one with Spike is fathers and sons.
All right.
Hello, good morning. My name is Chiara Ugolini from Roma, Italy. Nice to be here. Thank you very much for your work and your movie. I have a question about your meeting with Adriano Celentano in Milan, and why did you decide to put his song in the soundtrack? Thank you so much.
That's a great question.
Great question. One of the one of the things that technology has done is that if you're an artist, you don't have to move to New York, LA. And several people in this film, I found them on Instagram. And I saw this clip, and I love this song. I said, we got to use it. And so I contacted his people because we had put it in the film, but we wanted to do an orchestration of it and have English lyrics. I flew to Milan, played it for him, the maestro, and he said, okay. But I'd like to give it, can you stand up, Howard? This is Howard Drozen. Howard did the score and the orchestrations for many of the songs, including, I've never got the correct pronunciation of the song. Can you tell us the name, the title again? The title.
Yes, it's very hard to pronounce for Italian as well.
Wait, you're Italian. You know how to pronounce it? Howard, what is it? What? Yeah.
Now you got to repeat that 3 times very fast. No, I'm kidding.
So, let me finish though. So, Ayana Lee, no relation, I found her on Instagram. She's the singer that sings the songs at the end, the finale, and also she sings the end credit song.
Oh, that's right. All right. Fourth row, was that?
Hi, good morning, Maria Guerra, Quinótico, Spain. Well, thank you for this wonderful movie about integrity and values. And it is so clear when you speak about the attention being the new currency. I was wondering whether you think that social media is compromising American values. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much we talk about American values, considering who's the president of the My wife said, Spike, be very careful what you say. But here's the thing, I don't think that we could condemn social media. You could say the same thing about film or movies or whatever. So I'm not gonna demonize the form.
Well, there's a reason, though, that the developers, as we've read, many of the developers of social media don't allow their kids to go on social media. And there's a reason for that. Mm-hmm. I think, certain of this technology, I was in a show called Westworld, which I think in some ways was a documentary. I think we're all increasingly living in Westworld. And that will intensify over time in terms of the ways in which we are merged with these new technologies, which, as you say, are, they're in and of themselves tools, but it's not the tool, it's the hand that wields it.
Uh-oh.
And the ways in which these technologies are used to manipulate behaviors, to predict behaviors, really to kind of convert everyone into a widget inside a profit-making entity is not...
You said a widget?
Yeah, a cog in the machine. I mean, we're all like, we're being mined for our value. It's not necessarily for the common good. And I think if you look at the ways in which not just America, but the world has become increasingly divided, increasingly unable to agree on facts, certainly this technology has played a role in that, because we're all able to kind of silo ourselves in our own window. There's not a sense of the collective experience that we enjoy, for example, when we go into the theater together and sit down and watch a film as we used to. We didn't have to agree on the film, but we could at least agree that we had the experience together. We can no longer even do that anymore because we're all off in our separate realities, and it's created these weaknesses in the social, in the social fabric that I think are ultimately being manipulated politically as well. You can see it very clearly, the ways in which these technology and this politics of selfishness are working hand in hand. So, yeah, I wouldn't let the technology off so easily, Spike. Yeah.
All right, we're going to the end of the room over there. Thank you.
Hey everyone, Senator Jay of the Schmear Hunter here for the synagogue. Spike, you have the Pacers tonight at 2 a.m. our time. I have one question for you. Nixon, how many?
We only need 4.
4? Are you going on record with that?
I don't like the thing they use against me, but we're gonna win.
Okay, amen.
Basketball. For those who don't know, even though I'm here in the south of France,
On est en pleine finale de conférence, c'est pour ça.
We're reaching the end of the conference.
I knew I'd zip it up someplace. So for those who don't know, the New York Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals against Indianapolis. Was that woo for the Pacers or anyway?
Oh, it was for the next.
There's history between New York and Indiana. So I'm going to miss the first two. The first 2 games, it's best 4 out of 7. The first 2 are in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. So I'm gonna miss the first.
You're going to watch it on TV tonight, are you?
Well, we got to work something out.
Okay. If we can have a movie question, that'd be nice.
Yeah, there you go.
I do. Hi. Hello?
Yeah, you're
I do. I'm Harlan Jacobson. I'm from WBGO Radio, which
All right.
based in Newark, New Jersey, broadcasts on a jazz format and NPR news and features to the New York market. So I'm really glad that, Jeffrey, you tied that together with Spike's presence in New York. I think that's a really important thing to do because Spike has been a stalwart New York filmmaker. I loved everything from Do the Right Thing to what you did in Crooklyn, and now in Highest to Lowest, you literally take us from a penthouse down into a basement. That's about as high and low as you can go in New York City. And as you know, production's a really important issue in New York. There are a lot of people who aren't working and filming
LA too.
in New York, and LA is a ghost town. And so productions have gone overseas because of tax incentives and lower wage scale. And there have been 2 proposals that have been talked about to bring production back home again. The methods have been proposed to have been a national tax rebate, as well as the tariffs proposed by the Trump administration. So I'm kind of curious as to what you think about those 2 methods that are meant to attract productions that are clearly American in setting, American in cast, American in financing, back to film in the States and in New York.
Well, that's a very good question, and people are hurting. People whose lives, welfare depend upon working in the film industry. No one's working. And this, I don't know, the guy just said he wanted to put a tariff on every film that shot out. I don't know how that's going to work. But it's.
I don't think anyone knows how that's going to work.
He just, that's another one. But I don't have the answer for that. But I love to shoot. And I mean, originally, for Do the Right Thing, they were talking about shooting that film in Baltimore. How are you going to like, get the fuck out. We're not doing that. So you can't, there's just some things you can't replicate. And it's just, it's the vibe, it's the energy. And so I've been very lucky that I've been able to shoot the film, especially the ones that take place in New York, you know, and then I've had people who worked on highest to the lowest, that worked on Do the Right Thing. You know, there's a strong film community in New York City. But I don't have the answer for your question, but people are definitely hurting.
Yeah, I think there's from the outside sometimes an underappreciation of all of the people who make up a film set. You know, it's not just actors, you know, on red carpets. It's and most of the time we're not that. Anyway, but it's, you know, it's carpenters, it's electricians, it's drivers, it's, you know, people who work in wardrobe. It's a whole, you know, whole army of people of various skills, generally creative, who come together to do that. So the job losses can be significant. I'm working in London right now on a project, and I worked in London quite a bit last year. I'd obviously, you know, like to work in Brooklyn. It's more convenient, but
You know where the work is.
but as I understand it, one of the challenges, obviously there's attractive tax incentives in other jurisdictions, but one of the challenges in America is that we have 50 states. So we have multiple tax jurisdictions. We have, you know, in different, you know, bodies overseeing those for each state. So if there can be efforts to consolidate the focus and consolidate the building of these tax incentives from the federal level, federal leadership, and that could be
What was that word?
federal through considered and well-conceived leadership from the top, then there can be, I think probably successful ways to mitigate the loss of jobs. But what that requires is just a kind of comprehensive understanding of what the issue is, yes, and how to resolve it in a way that's productive. I think what we see too often is, yes, there's a recognition of the problem, but rather than an attempt to address the problem productively, what we see is the attempt to use the problem as a political wedge and to score political points as opposed to solving it.
Toronto, too. You can't leave that out. You know,
Yeah,
that's
sure.
another alternative.
Sure. But, I mean, it really is a question of leadership, quality leadership, as opposed to, gamesmanship or something like this, or, political points. But really,
On tariffs, hasn't he appointed two Hollywood advisors who have, three, who have actually advised against his plan to impose tariffs on films outside of the United States? Maybe he'll take heed.
See what happens.
Yeah. I mean, and just, this is unrelated. It's so nice to hear your familiar voice here. I'm a big fan of WBGO. I live across the hall from Sheila Anderson, the Queen of Hang, so.
My producer, Doug Doyle, will like that.
All right, we got a question over there.
Hi, my name is Raúl Godínez from Cine Mexico. Mr. Spike, I was wondering if you could take us back to the first time you worked with Denzel on your first day on set. And is there something you learned about your relationship that somehow carried all the way through all these years to now, highest to lowest? Thank you very much.
I don't remember that. I've seen Denzel's work. And funny story. So for Do the Right Thing, Danny Aiello was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and also Denzel for Glory. And Danny, the late great Danny, he was saying, how much he wants to win this. He's been in the industry a long time. So I went to see Glory, great film, director Ed Zwick. And there's a scene when Denzel's getting whipped. And when that tear rolled down, it's not funny because we're talking about enslavement and our ancestors. But when that tear came down his cheek, I said to myself, Danny, you ain't winning. I'm sorry, Danny, but I never told him. I was saying, Danny, Denzel's getting this. And that's where, I reached out to Denzel to do Mo Better. So this is the fifth film. It's in order: Mo Better, Malcolm X, He Got Game, and Inside Man. And it's been a blessing to just have this body of work of us doing films that people love. So it's a blessing that, again, and I don't know if we're going to do anything. I think this is it, 5. So it's been
Hi, we want more.
What?
We want more.
He's been talking about retirement, so even though he just did another deal. I thought he was going to retire, Denzel. What's up, G? But it's the 5 films together, they stand up. That's just and then Malcolm X. I mean, we what he did with that film and is amazing. And no disrespect to my brother Al Pacino, I love him. But Denzel, in my opinion, should have won. And with these awards, they really do it's like basketball, where a ref blows a call, then you got the makeup call. So the makeup call, I think, was Training Day, which he won an Oscar for. But we don't do our work for awards, which are nice, and I think that it's the work that's the one that's going to stand above all awards. Just do the work, do the work, do the work. And we don't, we're not in it to get awards. If we get it, fine. We don't, we keep moving on to the next. Just continue to build the body of work.
All right, to the end of the room.
Hi, everybody.
It's on, son.
Oh, hi, everybody. Sofiane from the RTBF in Belgium. First of all, congratulations for the movie, Heist to Lewis, and also for your amazing career that has influenced a lot of people, either individually or intergenerationally. And I would like you to lead us, since it's a very teachable moment broadcast worldwide, about the importance of discipline and hard work in a period of time of, as you mentioned, that is moving so fast technologically and also on a human level. What is the importance of believing in what you do in order to get somewhere in a period of time where everybody wants to get there in the easiest way? Thank you.
Well, as I said before, I'm a tenured professor of film at NYU Graduate Film School, the best film school in the world. Sorry about AFI or USC. In fact, after graduating college, Morehouse College, I applied to 3 film schools, USC, AFI, NYU. Back then, you had to get an astronomical score on the GRE, and I did not get the astronomical score, so I was not accepted into AFI and USC. But lucky for me, NYU, you'd have to take a test. All you had to do was submit a career portfolio. So, to get to attempt to answer your question, sir, would I not try? Oh, that's another thing. Anytime a student uses the word try, I quote Yoda. Stand up, please. This is my TA. Say your name. So, I have 2 rooms in my office. So, I teach on Thursdays from 8 to 1. I have, so from 8 to 1, I have 30-minute sessions with the student where we can look at their films, read their scripts, and talk. And so when one of my students says the word try, I say, Swami! And what happens? Loud, loud.
And then I run inside
Describe what's on the poster. Only do. That's not it.
There is no try.
You have it? Well, just say, what's the words? What's the words? Yeah, yeah. So when one of my students says the word try, what happens?
I run inside Professor Lee's office with a Yoda poster that reminds us to never say try and only do.
So words are very important. Words are very important. And the word try, that's a bad word. Especially for filmmakers, I think young filmmakers. And you have to bust your ass. And I could tell them about this angle and this and that, but the thing I really emphasize is work ethic. What are you doing? Are you faking the funk, or are you serious? Because the God of cinema is not come out of the orange and blue skies, hint, hint, and anoint you as the next motherfucker. It don't work like that. You have to work, and you have to be dedicated. And I think for me, I think I stress that more than, cinema, this angle, this, and what you're doing with that. I mean, you have to want it. This is a very tough industry. And I'm like Raider, I could tell who's serious, who's just who's styling and profiling. So that's my mission, to really, and when I have students to hit, it's a great feeling. In my class, NYU, was my class, Ernest Dickens, who shot all my films, and Ang Lee. We were on the same class. And Ang Lee's English wasn't that very good back then. But we were determined. Like, we did not expect teachers to, all we wanted was equipment. And this before video. We shot film, Super 16. And we did not expect I mean, they could tell us, the basics, but we just wanted the equipment to make our films.
Didn't you control the equipment room or something like that?
I didn't control it, but I worked in the equipment room. So I had the honor of giving out equipment to Jim Jarmusch. Because Jim Jarmusch was 2 years ahead of us. And when Strange in Paradise hit, woo! It was like, this could really happen. And so my class, I mean, even today, we regard Jim Jarmusch as like, he's the guy. Because we weren't there when Scorsese was there, or Oliver Stone. They were ahead of, we were little kids then, but when you work with, or you see, Jim had white hair even back then. and you saw this guy, and he was a great guy who talked to you, and so when he hit, all of us said, okay, we could do this too. I'm not the only one. We love Jim Jarmusch. We love him. We love him. He showed us the way.
Okay, we have time for one more question, so please make it short, please.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Ruben Palas of Rappler in the Philippines. And speaking of photographing in New York, Spike, this is your first time to work again with Matthew Libatique after almost 20 years.
Matty Libatique, second time.
After almost 20 years. So can you talk about working with Matty again? And if the two actors can also talk about working with and being photographed by Matty Libatique.
Matty Libatique, my brother, is one of the great cinematographers working today. And it's been I was so elated when he told me that he could do the project. And so we have a partnership. And when you're close with somebody, you don't have to have any long dialogue. It's very short, boom, 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 let's go. And Maddie is a DP that understands the schedule, and we can't take 10 hours to light this thing. We got to go. But he's such a great artist that we don't lose anything by moving with the pace. We got to go. We got to go. And I know you might talk to us too. We're like, you're an actor. You got to wait in the 4 hours for the setup. You know, that's like in the trailer. You know, when people come to, when we work on my films, we're ready to go. We're not. Also, when people, it's funny. When people know that the Knicks are playing that day, they know they're going home early.
If the game's at 7, we got to be done by 5:30. We got to be out of there.
Am I lying? If they know the Knicks got a game at the Garden, they call it wise. Just, honey, I'm gonna be home with dinner tonight. You know, it's like we ain't gonna be no like 12-hour day. We're like, we're going.
Okay, well, one very, very last one. Very quick.
You want a cinema question? We're leaving the Knicks out of it. Just cinema.
Hello, my question is for Mr. Spike Lee. I'm from the Philippines, newspaper, The Daily Guardian, and my question would be very quick. In this movie, your exploration of decision-making and sacrifice, how do you believe these themes resonate with the current societal challenges we face today?
Thank you for the question. Denzel says this line twice in the film. It's also going to be in a poster. All money ain't good money. I'm going to repeat that. All money ain't good money. And so we all have our own specific morals and what you will and what you do for money. And that's what makes Kurosawa's film so great. This person is put in a moral dilemma. A moral dilemma that before Tissue Mifune, great filmmaker. I mean, he did like 18 films with Kurosawa. I mean, great body of work. And now with Denzel Washington, that he's jammed up. He's faced with his moral decision, and you see with the great acting of Denzel, I mean, he's going back and forth. And finally, he makes, I mean, my man was sitting next to me last night. And I said, this is the first time you've seen it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, this the scene. You got to see the scene. The scene, and can we just get a little bit? The scene where you come in to Denzel's office and practically, I mean, not you're doing it, but literally, you're on your knees, begging. The guy you grew up with, the same hood. He went one way, you went the other. You went upstate. Well, we were Sing Sing?
Otisville.
All right. Where's that from? 25th Hour.
Otisville?
Yeah.
Could
They
be.
would know it.
They probably shown it up there. They show films up there. You should go up there, Spike.
But talk about that, because I think that you could explains better with this moral dilemma and how you prepared. I mean, you grew up with them.
Well, what I think is interesting about what you created in this film relative to Kurosawa's film is you kind of updated, contemporized that relationship, because in the Kurosawa is very decidedly a hierarchical relationship.
It was like his butler, right?
Yeah, he's a very that kind of specific
Always bowing down.
caste relationship where he's very submissive and that's it. But there was a deeper balance that was created that I think is more fitting, New York right now. And but at the same time, yeah, there's a desperation and a vulnerability. You like that scene. I saw the movie for the first time last night, and it's always hard for me to make sense of.
Was I bothering you?
No.
I was like, look at this. Oh.
I bother myself because that's what's going on in my head when I'm watching something for the first time. It's we tend to be overly critical, but yeah, I mean, there's that's where the moral dilemma is. It between money? Is it money or love? I guess
And what you'll do for that, right?
And what you'll do for it. Yeah. I mean, but that's the world we're living in now, where everything is for sale. Everybody is for sale. Everything is transactional. I think we can do better. Maybe you.
We have to, right?
We have to.
We have to.
We've forgotten,
Come on, champ. Come on, champ. Oh, you bring us home. Bring us home. Bring us home.
Well, I think, Spike, what you do in this is what we always need. We go back to the simplest things, and we go back to, the celebration of love. Not everything's for fucking sale. Not everything is a business decision. Not everything is
We're going to church now.
Is
Is it Baptist church?
Is transactional,
Is
Huh?
Yeah.
Bring us home. Bring us home, Spike.
Nah. Yeah, come on.
From the Amen corner.
Come on, Rick.
No, I mean, I just think that.
Abyssinian, come on. 145th and Lex.
I think there wasn't,
in Harlem.
The time that we grew up,
Yeah.
the films that you have made, what Malcolm X is talking about. We come from a tradition that wasn't about what you could do for yourself, but what you could do for your community. And there was, at the core of it, it wasn't money. Again, going back to the simple things, it was about love. And
LOVE?
And we can get back there. We need to get back there. We're not there now. We're in the opposite.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Mesdames, Messieurs, just one more thing. Go Knicks!
Go Knicks.
Go Knicks!
Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Very good.